build your character, protect your character, right? Because labels are put to you, my labels were put to me 25 years ago, right? I was a very tough operational guy, right? That gave group technology a horrible time, right? But I meant to know men because they're finding it difficult to align with some of my views. So all my mentees are ladies. Like a parent, leadership is a 24/7, 365 job. Management is a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But leadership is like parenting the whole time.
The whole time, yeah.
The whole time. And you have to think about like that. I think I visited 15 countries for Sasol. And probably more than 100 flights. and experienced all different cultures from the Far East, right, to the Middle East, to Europe, to America, and you must just realize how stupid you are, right? And if you do that, you will surround yourself by smart people, and you will listen to them. But if you think you're smart, right, then
you're the first and the only person at Sasol, according to my knowledge, that's been like the head of 3 departments.
Yes. And then you read that and decided, no, this guy should not mention me.
No. No. I think it went so well because you told me.
And I think it comes from childhood. I love change. I thrive in change. The challenge it brings, the excitement, the unknown of what it brings. You must value diversity in your family. Right? It's not diversity of race, right? But it's diversity of gender, diversity of experience, needs, right? Skills. And you learn that each of those add value. I didn't want to go to a technical school. I wanted to become a doctor.
You want to become a doctor?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's lots of money in doctor. Right? And when you take that opportunity, a challenge, you have to make the effort to learn. And that frustrates me in Sasol to some of why we are so not willing to learn. There are so many resources out there. But you just have to grasp and learn.
Hi everyone, welcome to P-Squared Podcast. Today I have Mr. Andrew. Mr. Andrew, Oosthuizen, welcome to P-Squared Podcast.
Yeah, thank you, Greg. Thank you for inviting me into your home. Huh?
Okay, perfect. So without wasting any time, the signature to the podcast. Start first with the cards. So you're gonna pick, let's say, 3 random cards and then just give them to me. So,
Don't push that one forward.
Okay. Go on the other side. Okay, you give that to me. Taking you back, as you kids, right?
My favorite topic.
Your favorite topic, okay. When do you feel the most proud of who you are?
I think if I looked at my sons, right, and I see what men they've become, then I must feel proud about all the things that we've done together and the work we put in together and the good times and the bad times we had.
Oh, okay.
So I think my 2 sons is my pride and joy. With my wife as well, and looking at them and what they've become, it's probably the proudest moment. And looking back when they're little babies and they're born, you're so scared of these little things.
With you, okay.
And you think about what you're gonna do. You're so young, right? You're a child yourself, and then growing up with them. It's kind of.
Yeah.
Really
well, one of your sons that I know is like a photocopy of you. So yeah. So, well, look at that. What kind of parent will you be?
Will I be?
Yeah.
Hopefully not a parent again.
Okay, let's twist it actually. What kind of grandpa will you be?
I think you obviously give them a lot of love. I think is that. But I think you need to be so careful not to try and imprint yourself, right?
Okay.
And help them to make their choices, right? But I'll make sure that I give them good advice to give their parents health. as they gave us.
Like
so just
you
before,
remember what you did?
Yeah. So just before they go, give them a bag of sweets, so they
Yeah.
heavily sugar loaded.
Like, why you just sleeping now? Like, yeah, okay. Then last one. Well, why are these kids? These questions about kids?
All kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
You picked right. I mean, it's like you're proud of your kids, and now the kids are showing up, all of them. Do you want kids when you grow up? Why? Why not? You already have them.
So I don't think it's something that you think about early in your life, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a single child, and
Okay.
and you start thinking about this, about what will fulfill your life,
Yeah.
and then kind of it happens. And I think what the question is that we want a second kid, and the answer was yes.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
And because
That's a
growing up
real good
alone
one.
is a quite different dynamic,
Yeah.
and you become molded in a certain way, and we never wanted that
Yeah.
for our oldest. And so
Yeah.
the question is, do you want to have a second kid? And it was yes.
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 Okay.
And when we had the second kid, the question is, do you want a third one? And the answer was no. Absolutely not.
Must be the second one that made it like nope, kind of.
Because it was a
Yeah.
complete opposite.
Then you don't want to see what the third one would be. So,
Yeah.
oh, okay. But what's the age gap between
2 years.
2 years?
2 years.
Okay, they were buddies, best friends then when they're young.
Yeah.
Okay.
And but completely different.
Completely different.
With different needs and different
Yeah.
attitudes and things like that. And so we said,
I guess that even when they say, like, even when people that siblings, the way they experience the parents like is different.
obviously,
Might be the same people, might be the same household, but the way they experience their parents might be totally different. But again, same applies to the parents as well.
Yeah.
The way you see the kids, like, okay, these two very different, but okay.
And it challenges you as a parent, right?
Yeah.
All these different diversities in your family.
Yeah.
And
well, now since you grew up alone, how would it have been if you had like a brother or a sister?
how old? So you also old.
No. If you had a brother or a sister, since you grew up, you said you were the only child,
Yes.
right? So if you had a sister or brother, how would it have been? Do you think it would have been different?
I grew up very close to my aunt, right?
Oh, okay.
So she's lots older than my mother, and she came stay with us a lot early in her life, and we grew up together, but she was quite a bit older than that. So like a very older sister kind of way, and we were quite close, and so I got a little bit of that experience, but it's not as a sibling specifically. And
oh, okay. So let me just take you back then.
Okay.
Do you remember the first time we had a chat?
I think you came introduced me at some time and said you want to chat to me about the future. I think that is what I remember. All right. But it's been about 2 to 3 years ago, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was.
So I was in some different roles, and you just started out as a young engineer.
Yeah, it was 2023, and I sent out like a message about mentorship and stuff. And then I remember I sent an email. 10:33, I sent an email. 10:53, you replied. 20 minutes later, we're like, oh yeah, sure thing. Do you still remember what you said?
No, I don't.
You don't.
So I realize now I'm probably not very busy, but
so 20 minutes later, you just said, sure. You said, good afternoon, sure. You can contact me anytime or schedule a standing meeting, right? May I ask what engineering discipline you studied? Then you said 2 of your team members are studying PM at this point. One was in second year, the other one is in first year. And then, as always, postscript, I'm not a PM specialist, but more of a Sasol generalist, but have some interesting insights on project management. That was the first time.
And then you read that and decided, no, this guy should not mentor me.
No, no. I think it went so well because you told me I should reach out to the guys. Then I reached out to Arrow, and then we had a chat about it. And then that's where he gave me like the advice. I was like, hey, since you are in your GDP, why don't you get the exposure in that environment, the project management environment, instead of you going to varsity doing a master's and wasting your money and it's something that you don't like. So I was like, get in that environment, see if it's something that you would like to do. Then from there, you can do it and then come and doing what you like. So I took that. And then because I have a process background, so what I had to do was like I had to push myself to complete the third year competencies, provide the proof, because I always told myself like, what would the GDP say? Because obviously they will say no. You are a process engineer. Why would you want to go in that environment? So all the possible questions came into my head, like, what would they say? What would they say? Then I managed to complete some of the third year competencies, everything. Then some of them I did in my first year. So I provided that evidence. And when I went to the GDP, I will go there with proof. When they ask me a question, like, oh no, I covered it. Where's the proof? Oh, they are the people. There's the work that I've done. Then after that, there was no excuse for me to rotate in that department. So I was just planning out thoroughly. So when was it? Was it was in May 2023. So I was like, by end of December, I need to have everything sorted. So then from there, I was sorted.
Great. Some good advice, huh?
Yeah. So it was good. Then that's when I reached out to Mr. Nellis. Then it was like, oh, I have someone in my department. You want engineering or you want project management? I was like, no, not engineering. I want project management. And that was it. Long story short, the whole year did that. And then I did some process engineering as well. So I was like, I can handle both. So that was it. So you started it. You were part of it. So yeah. But just to checking again with Jenny. 30 years with one company. You've been here with one company the whole 30 years.
Yes.
Full years. Okay. So speak to me. How is the journey going so far? Where is it going?
So as I see life, I don't know exactly where it's going, right?
Okay.
And that's been my approach right from the start. So to me, my career has always been adventure. And where's the next adventure?
Okay.
And it started in my GDP.
Yeah. Okay.
This adventure. And I always seek and say, so where is the new adventure? What can I learn? Where can I add value? And what is the next adventure I can experience? And there's a movie just called Just Say Yes.
Okay.
Right? And it's kind of like that when things came across and people said, do you want to do this? And I said, yes.
Yes.
And
just take opportunities.
Then that, and then another opportunity came and said, do you want to do this? Yes.
Okay.
And so it continued, and it started very early in my GDP when I started in the company, and it just rolled on, and I keep having that attitude, saying, okay, so where will this journey take me, right? And what are the next adventure and challenge ahead? So I was never career orientated. My wife will all say, no, that's a lie.
That's
okay. There's a difference between being ambitious and being career orientated. So yes, I was ambitious in terms of that, but very, very open to saying, where does all of this go, right? And what is the really next interesting thing that will come across my path? And it took me great places all over the world, all different things, and for Sasol.
Yeah, that's good. Well, that's great. Saying yes to opportunities, got you to where you are. So I was like, before I forget, I need to ask this one first before we go anywhere. You are the first and the only person at Sasol, according to my knowledge, that's been like the head of 3 departments.
Yes.
A functionalist, like you say.
Yeah.
How? Just.
Yeah. So I early in my career decided I do not want to be an engineer.
Okay.
Because I would probably kill someone. I'm not diligent enough.
You to be
right?
Okay.
And I'm definitely not smart enough. Right? And I love working more with people.
Yeah.
But if you get something, you must do your absolute best to learn that, to understand that. Okay,
Yeah.
and I was given many opportunities. First in operations, right? So I was asked to manage water systems as a mechanical engineer, and I drove into that and I learned about water and different technologies, and really immersed in trying to upskill me. And that followed into commissioning opportunities.
Yeah.
And then really delved into commissioning and really made an effort to understand external perspectives, right? What is out there in the knowledge bases, right? And really learn that. And that quickly brought you to say, okay, but right now you're the expert, you're the HOD of commission.
Yeah.
And then it took me for a while, and in typical myself, got bored, and then looked for another opportunities.
Yeah.
And the opportunities came up to go into project controls or project services without any experience. But again, tackling that and say, how much can I learn? How much can I learn from the people? How much can I learn from theory? What's available out there? And really make an effort to learn that. And that brought me to that level again.
Yeah.
And long time, I think it was 15 years in commissioning, actually, where I spent most of that time. Then about probably 7, 8 years in project controls. Yeah. And then moved on to project management opportunities. And again, when you take that opportunity, a challenge, you have to make the effort to learn. And that frustrates me in Sasol to some of why we are so not willing to learn. There are so many resources out there, but you just have to grasp and learn and do that. And it seems like there's not that willingness anymore to do that. And if you do that, you will reap the effort. You will actually reap the rewards of that effort if you do that. And I'm always telling the story when I moved into group technology. And so I was on operations. Right? Now I moved into group technology. And I heard this thing about the BD&I.
Yeah.
And I actually went and printed the whole BD&I, 3,000 pages, and put it in volumes and read it. Because I thought everybody else, they must know this thing, so I must know it as well. Right? And then quickly realized, but you're probably the only guy that knows it to that level. So you must put effort. But if you put in the effort to learn, you will reap the rewards. And with grasping the opportunities, and say, not saying no, but I can't do this because I don't have the background or etc. Take on the challenge.
Yeah. And then at least one thing that I spoke to one of your colleagues was like, you know what, compared to me, is you adapt very well to environment. Like if there's a change within a company, you adapt very well. You don't, it was like, compared to me, I cannot. I'm not easy to change and all that. But as for you, like you just adapt very quickly to things like, okay, which leads to whatever you say now. If there's an opportunity comes, like jump into it.
And I think it comes from childhood. I love change. I thrive in change. The challenge it brings, the excitement, the unknown of what it brings, which is kind of part of that. And as I grew up as a quite adventurous child, exploring things and doing dangerous things, and I think you just come more adapt to that. I don't think it's something that I've learned.
That's so something I grew up. I guess it's something like that you grow up with. Like you just, I don't know how I put it. It grows with you. Like, oh, a small challenge, you step into another level, then you adapt to it. You keep on. It's more like an appetite thing. Like you grow with. You just don't. After 30 years, then that's when you want to change and adapt to change like that. No, I guess it doesn't work that way. But for someone that is having like fear of the unknowns, like, oh, but what if this thing doesn't work? How can they go about that? It's just a matter of taking opportunities as they come and go through them.
I think it's very difficult to say no. You have to be like this. You have to take on risks. You have to. I am very, what's the right word? Pro risk, right? But more risk taking than many others. I like adventure sports. I like exploring. Right. I will go into a foreign city, go walk the streets. Irrespective of perhaps the risk and things like that. And I don't think it's our people. Now you have to be like that. Right? Each person grows up, and someone is more reserved. Someone is more calculating.
Yes,
in
I
the
see.
way that, and I think you just have to fit the way you want to develop, right? Like
Yeah.
you are.
That's
And I really get frustrated to see for people to say, no, but you must be like this, right?
Yeah.
And I think everybody needs a little bit of danger and fear in their life, right? It makes you
Yeah.
feel alive. But you should develop around your personality. Otherwise, it just creates conflict
Exactly. Yeah.
in yourself.
Yes.
And that's much more dangerous and will
Yeah.
create unhappiness
Yeah.
for that.
I'll talk about. I'll tell you something after this shoot. But
Mhm.
then you mentioned like you don't mind like getting into different territories and all that. You're not afraid of the unknown. Then you what your career spanning over 3 decades, and then you went to different continents and all that. So what were the key lessons, or what are the key lessons that you learned navigating the diverse cultural and business environments?
Yeah, so I was very fortunate. So on my drive here, I calculated, I think I visited 15 countries for Sasol,
Yeah.
and probably more than 100 flights, and experienced all different cultures from the Far East,
Yeah.
right, to the Middle East, to Europe, to America, and we all look different, right? We
Yeah.
sound different, we believe different things, right? But at the heart of this, every single place I worked with, people want to be heard,
Yeah.
right? They want to be listened to, and they want to be recognized.
Hmm.
It is so common, right?
Yeah.
And anyway, and that was so amazing in terms of that. So there's a commonality in humanity
Yeah.
in terms of that, and if you can just link to that a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Just say thank you. Just say, what do you think? What is your opinion?
Yeah.
You see the response anywhere you are in terms of that. And so I think that is my key lesson of working, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh, I see. Then let's see this one then. You across people I've spoken to, you are known for blending diverse expertise and fostering integrated efficiencies in teams, right?
mhm,
And then it's one of the things that they are so amazed at how you manage to handle everyone in the team, because you're not a specialist, but you're handling or you're managing people that are specialists.
mhm,
So can you share like an example how you manage to unite like specialists with different skills, like skill sets towards a common goal?
it's a very difficult, complex question, right?
Yeah.
So as a functionalist, right, and I think any functionalist role, if you get to the management of that, you must just realize how stupid you are,
Good.
right? And if you do that, you will surround yourself by smart people, and you will listen to them.
Yeah.
But if you think you're smart, right, then we will not gather that information. So that is, I think, part of that, right, in terms of that. But I got this philosophy, and it served me well in all my roles as leader,
Yeah.
is that, and I call it family values in leadership.
Okay.
Family values.
Family.
And I just say many of us, right, come out of sound families. Not all of us, but many of us.
Yeah.
And many of us are good parents, right?
Yeah.
We get our children to grow up, we feed them, we clothe them, we keep them healthy, right?
Yeah.
We get them some education, so we're quite successful. But as we drive through the Sasol gates, we forget that. We
Yep.
leave that there and become someone else, right? We
Yeah.
become a leader or we become a manager,
Yeah.
right? Our theory books. So, and that creates inner conflict, first of all. But you forget all of these practical things. So in the philosophy of family values, is one of the key things is you must value diversity in the family.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not diversity of race,
Yeah.
right? But it's diversity of gender, diversity of experience,
Yeah.
needs, right? Skills,
Yes.
and you learn that each of those add value, and you cannot push out a child or a parent something because they believe something different or they think differently.
Yeah.
There's value in that, and you have that, and that's part of my philosophy of saying family values.
Yeah.
Right. The other one, and that's very important, is I say, like a parent, leadership is a 24/7, 365 job. Management is a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But leadership is like parenting the whole time.
Those and yeah.
The whole time. And you have to think about like that.
Yes, yeah.
Right? And the next thing is about caring. So a lot of people say now we have to care in Sasol and think, but what does it really mean? To me, it means if you're dealing with issues, is family issues take precedence over operational issues.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. If your child is upset about something, he got bullied at school or something, you don't tell him first do your homework, finish your homework, when it's done, then we'll talk about this. No, you talk first about that.
Yes.
Right? So family matters comes first.
Yes.
Always. In terms of that. And so those are some of the snippets throughout my philosophy about that.
Yeah.
And many other little things part of that that we can talk on perhaps at some point. But I think diversity is critical as you value that diversity in a family.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's one thing that one of the guys mentioned was like the way you are at work is how you are at home. You carry those hustle values. They will see some people that they come to work because they're like that. They have to perform or be in a certain personality. But you, well, how you are at home is how you are. Even at work, you care about people, then you do all that.
but I think that's a compliment. Thank you.
Well, we'll talk about the compliments and the other side of things. But yeah, then you talked about compliments. Let's talk about this one then. So your colleagues, actually something that I I'll tell you about it, how I resonate with this or how people see me as well. But your colleagues describe you as a leader who's both commanding and approachable, straight talking yet supportive. So, how do you balance being firm with being empathetic?
Let me think about that.
So,
So,
maybe
yeah.
while you think about that, let me just put it this way. When they first meet you, like, I cannot. That's the weird thing is, I talk to different people. Like, did you guys have a chat before I came to speak to you, or what? Like, whatever they're saying is more like the same about you. So I was like, when they first met you, I was like, oh, I can't believe I'm gonna work with this guy. Then after that,
it's gonna be horrible.
Yeah,
right?
it's gonna be horrible. Then I get to know you, like, no man. At some point, this person is so approachable and it's so soft, and you're caring and supportive as well. And then you don't mix your words. You're a straight talker. And I was like, yeah, that's more like me.
So I think something I learned in Sasol is you need to protect your character at all cost from a young age, because once labels are placed on you, be a certain way, etc., it is extremely difficult.
Yes.
To shift that.
Yes.
It is really, 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 and I will say, build your character, protect your character, right? Because labels are put to you, my labels were put to me 25 years ago, right? I was a very tough operational guy, right? That gave group technology a horrible time, right?
Oh, it was because of you.
And as typical of hardcore operational guys do.
Yeah.
And labels will put to you, and you would be amazed that 20 years later, people come to work with you and they still hear these labels. Right? I sometimes call it propaganda, etc. In terms of that, but there is also truth in some of that, and so sometimes these guys says now leadership is a thing. It's great. Management is bad, right? We want to be leaders. We don't want to be managers. Okay, and but that's not true, right? That must be balanced, right? So management is saying, right, we plan, we organize, we align, we assign, we delegate, right?
Yeah.
But we do that while still caring, right, about circumstances, about capacity, about competency in terms of that, so leadership skills. So blending that. Okay. So all of these nice books about leadership is written by the top management of major companies, CEOs, right, etc., and managing directors. Now they can afford to play full leadership roles. They must be that example. They must be that vision, right?
Yeah.
But to enable that, there needs to be managers below that.
Yeah.
People needs direction. People needs to be checked and controlled as well. And you have to play that balance very carefully. Some people needs more support, right, in what they do. Others need just a bit more checking.
Yeah.
And you really have to sit and think about who needs what. But the message is management is not bad. Just being a manager is bad, right?
Yeah.
Just being a leader is disastrous.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
you must bring that two together. But I'm also a firm believer that discipline is quite important.
Yeah.
Discipline to the point that if you make a commitment, right, think carefully about that commitment. Don't just willy-nilly suck it out your thumb and say, "Oh, I'll be done by Friday." Think about that commitment. But once you made the commitment, right,
Make sure you
that's what
stick
it's
it
called.
to-
It's called the commitment.
Yeah.
and because again, I grew up like that,
Yeah.
and I still think that that's perhaps some part that we start losing in Sasol, right?
Yeah.
About and that's part of caring as well, because if I commit to someone, I care that I will keep to that
Yes.
for his behalf, in terms
Yeah.
of that. But yeah, exactly how that is, I think it's difficult to say how I get it done, right? When I get it done correctly,
Yeah.
right? So that's the point, because
Yeah.
it gets
But
done wrong
yeah,
many times as well.
Yeah. Yeah. But you mentioned like something right now I'm trying to catch. Building your character, um, your reputation, protecting that as well. At a early age, because that's true. I've got into meetings, meeting people. Then when I get out of there, like, oh, this person did this project like 15 years ago. I was like, you still holding, like, his name got attached to that. I was like, how come? So it's just like, is there a way of ever coming back from that? Since if your name is attached to something, is there ever a way of just coming back from all that?
I think we've got long memories about the bad things, right? And you say, isn't there a way? I'm just the example about how difficult it is.
Yeah.
Okay. And as I said, even 25 years ago, labels are still attached. And but I think the only real way is just to rebuild trust relationships, and not care about if there's other people out there.
Yeah.
That's not part of your stakeholders or part of your inner circle and what they think. It is saying is when you get into these relationships, then you have to start building the trust.
Yeah, but and you know, is one that I do actually. People will tell you like, oh no, this person is like this and all of that. When you first meet them or when you have to work with them, I don't listen to them. I just believe like people need some grace. The way you experience that person might be different than how I'm experiencing them, and then from the time you experience them, they might have evolved and improved. So, yeah, I just yeah, and then there are a lot of things that I've like a lot of opportunities I would have missed if I listened to people like, oh, don't talk to that person because of this.
Yeah.
So it's more like hate by association. I know you now. I don't want to talk to somebody else because of you.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna do that.
It's a very mature view.
Yeah.
But as I said, lots of that I call just propaganda.
Yep.
And we're very good at that. Very, very good at that.
And that's annoying that people tend to believe the worst of things, but forget the little good thing that you do. If it's something bad, they will remember it. But if something good, they won't. Yeah, but how do you feel about all of this? Like, if you know you get a view of how people think of you and that's not who you are, like this perception, maybe something like from 20 years 20 years ago. That's a long time.
Yeah, I think there's good and bad. So I don't think it's necessarily bad at this point that people are a little bit afraid,
Yeah.
a little bit sensitive, hesitant,
Okay.
all right? Because it does set at least a bar and where it is. But now that I'm older, I think it just rubs off, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter,
Doesn't matter.
right?
Been there, done that.
It comes with time, don't worry.
Yeah.
And it comes with time. I told someone the other day, I worked with much more difficult people, being very harsh, in very tough circumstances, right? I've experienced that, right?
Yeah.
And so these smaller things start to wrap up, and it will just come with time.
Yeah.
It will come with time as you become more resilient.
Yeah.
Okay. So we said, no, you have to be resilient. You don't just become resilient. It grows.
It goes. Yeah.
It grows with experience. It goes with experiences that you live through. That makes you a bit tougher and resilient.
Yeah.
And then some of these things starts to not affect you anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. And I also believe that as soon as people start engaging with you, then it will change. So
yeah. Yeah. It's one of the things that in my circle, people already think like, oh, I'm an old soul and all. So I don't care much about what people think of me. As long as I know I'm doing right, I'm not no one goes to bed crying because of me. I don't try to fit in any situations or anything like that. So I just like being in my own circle. So people, when I say like I'm more like relate to you, I've heard some of the things about I'm very hectic. Was like I'm very hectic. I don't sugarcoat things. I should be careful the environment. And I was like, I'm not gonna put up a personality because I'm in this specific environment. What I am with you, and then with other people, you're gonna be the same person.
Yeah.
So
I think you need to be careful as you grow older. So don't
yeah.
fall in a trap to say, listen, right, I am who I am, and tough with the rest. You need to realize that part of situational leadership is to adjust to the circumstance. Okay.
Yeah.
Adjust to the stakeholders and the people that you're dealing with. That's part of maturity. And if you come just and say, well, I am who I am, if you don't accept me, that's tough.
Yeah.
And this is my approach, and my approach worked for me for 30 years, so accept it. That's very dangerous.
Okay.
That's not good situational leadership. Okay. And I think that is actually something that you should be very careful about. I'm calling it falling back into your immaturity as you grow older.
Yeah. Then but there's the reason why I'm looking at this right now, I was looking for this. You said situational leadership, right? That's how they experience. That's how they explain your leadership. Your leadership approach is described as situational.
Yes.
You adapting to individuals' personalities. So, like I said, how do you develop the skill, and how important is emotional intelligence, like in all this?
Yes.
That's exactly what you just explained now.
Someone also sometimes questions, how do you become a good leader, or how do you become a good manager? But there's lots of books trying to explain this to you, but I don't think anybody can actually tell you this is what the steps you need to take, right?
Yeah.
I think I developed into a good situational leader by just lots of experiences with lots of different people over a long time. And in my natural ability to like change is trying to relate to all of the situations. So my answer would be, it grows over time if you are aware and you pay attention. Okay. So I think this is very important. So if you're in commissioning, right, and you're working night shift and you're working with the operators, right, and it's a tough environment and the guy swears, and they're upset. And he says, no, don't swear, right? This is not the Sasol values, right? You swear with him, right? This is his space, right? This is his world, okay? Right? And you have to say, how do I manage to work in that environment? And then you step out into executive boardroom. You can't take that with you, okay? Then you have to walk in there and say, okay, but now we are more respectful, right? And I must be much more careful about how I put questions across. These people are sensitive, egos are high, and then you have to shift. But that comes with lots of scars, right? So again, out of my nature to be a little bit more adaptable to change, out of how I grew up, etc., comes about a little bit more natural, okay?
Yeah.
But I would say to any young kid, if you want to learn this, is just trying to get to many different situations with many different people and be observant.
You see.
And don't have a chip on your shoulder.
Yeah.
In that.
See.
So, and I think that will grow. And I think probably some textbooks will say no, right?
Yeah.
But it's really, and remember that in situational leadership, you probably get it wrong as many times as you get it right. Okay. Because I don't know your personality. I don't know. So I'm kind of profiling, right?
Yeah.
Young, ambitious engineer, and then I try to relate to you. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
And I get it wrong. So understand that
It's
as well.
It's iteration again. Let's start over. Yeah, I see.
So not everybody that ever worked for me, my team, are happy and that they've been there.
Yeah.
Okay. So and I'm honest about that.
Yeah.
Right. That role didn't work.
Yeah. I see.
Most probably because I read the situation wrong, or I was biased, or I profiled wrong, or any of those things.
Yeah. Okay. Well, but just like when you get, I know when you get a feedback about, oh, you should have approached this in a different way, then yeah, you just like, okay, we'll learn from that, because you're big on self-improvement as well. So very good. Then let's talk about your you have mentoring circles.
Mm-hmm.
Like how do you get into the mentoring?
Okay. So we only have a mentoring circle about mentorship.
About mentorship.
So we're talking to other mentors about how to be good mentors, right? And it's going quite well. It's just very interesting that we're actually a very small group out of this probably hundreds of mentors in Sasol.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm also thinking about from what guidance are they mentoring, right? So what harm are they potentially doing? And because the first rule of mentoring is do no harm.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the fundamental first rule. Do no harm in that. And but I think it's quite successful. But the mentoring support, I think it works and improving because no specific person is standing, I'm the chair and I'm teaching you now how to be a good mentor. We are having conversations about topics, about mentorship, to go back and say, how can we be better mentors in the organization? And that's one of the things I thrive on is mentoring, right? Yeah. I don't mentor many because many people don't like, many people that I approach me for mentorship doesn't like my approach.
Okay.
All right.
So how was your approach?
So I don't mentor many. I have, for example, no men that I mentor. Okay. All right. At this point, I've got someone that I help a little bit on something specifically, but I mentor no men because they're finding it difficult to align with some of my views. So all my mentees are ladies. Okay.
Would have been one. You see if I still continue.
So we just in that mentorship circle share some of our experiences, some of our concerns sometimes. Sometimes ask for help in a confidential and anonymous manner in terms of that. And I think it will continue into the future. So mentoring to me is, mentoring is the oldest form of teaching. Yeah. I spoke at the Northwest University Business School opening a couple of months ago. And I said, that since the days where we sat around a fire and we didn't have something to write on, right? And we could only talk to the younglings. We were mentoring. That's the oldest. We told them things and we showed them things. We didn't write it in a book and says, go read the book. Okay? And go take this course about how to hunt. We're sending you to this hunting school. But we mentored. So it's the oldest form. So it's naturally to all of us. It's natural in all of us.
Yeah.
And that's why we just need to hone and polish our approaches and skills with the objectives of do no harm.
Yeah.
Because we can so quickly do harm.
Yeah.
In our mentoring.
Yeah. Then I at some point in the company, there was a call for people to mentor African kids and all that. Then out of most of the people, I heard that you were the only one that continued with that while other people stopped. So, is that how we started? And then you're like, that's it.
No,
continue with this.
No, I think mentoring is. When I was at EIT, they were told me, no, you have to get a mentor.
You get a mentor.
You must go and get a mentor.
You're in EIT in 1998 or 99.
Yes, no, you must get a mentor.
They still do the same thing even
yes.
now.
and he said, I don't know, what's a mentor? Why do I need a
That
mentor?
must be, yes.
But what do I want from a mentor? So I find this guy that I think I like. I think.
Yeah, you don't
right?
even know, yes.
And then you sit with him for 3 years until you complete the GDP, and then you say, okay, bye. and unfortunately, that's the way that we sometimes formalize it.
Yeah.
But I'm also, will you walk up to a girl in a coffee shop and say, will you marry me? I like you, beautiful. Will you marry me?
Yeah.
And sometimes we approach mentorship like that.
Yeah.
We knock on the door, will you mentor me? And it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's our approach to mentorship, and it must be much more fit.
Yeah.
I told the GDP the other day, perhaps they must have a mentorship dating night.
Mentorship dating night.
Yeah. So we can have the speed dating between EITs and mentors, and then only have 5 minutes to check this, and then move on.
Actually, that can work. You know, like I like the idea. It can work. Then let's speed past through this. Let's talk about people know you, seasoned individual, professionally, but there are some other things that you do in the background that people don't know about. We'll get to the exciting stuff later, the funny part later. But for now, you help one of your employees, like at home, like through school, getting a bursary, going to varsity. Tell me about that. Yeah, what's the name? It's Ponaki. That's the name I got here.
Yeah, so Ponaki is my gardener's son.
Yeah.
And very intelligent, and he received a bursary. I don't know what, but this non-committal bursary at Sasol office. I can't remember what's its name. And he went studying, and then as he finished his degree, there was no further funding. And if you have a BSc degree, base degree doesn't give you much opportunities. So I supported Punaki, and we helped Punaki through his honors and his masters. And degree, but everything else he did himself. So and really, I think impressive that someone with that level of support at home and background can achieve that.
Yeah. So is one of the things like you're giving someone a chance, like to further their studies, to make something out of themselves. So is it something that I know? I was telling your son, I was like, how we are right now and how your generation was is quite different. So I was just thinking about, you know, like back then, how you grew up and how your sons are. You say they are more privileged than you were when you were growing up.
Yes.
Yeah. You mentioned like you didn't have a lot when you're growing up and stuff. So and
so I don't would say I grew up underprivileged, right?
Yeah.
I never went to bed hungry,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
I always had a roof over my head, and always had enough love and support. Okay, and but life was difficult, right?
Yeah.
And one of the stories I always tell is that by the time I was 18, I lived in 18 houses.
Yeah,
So
you
it's
moved
part of-
around a lot.
so-
Yeah.
So part of that, and it was very clear about there would never be money for study. So my grandfather was an artisan. He was a steam engine artisan, or engineer as they called it, technician.
Yeah.
My father was a motor diesel mechanic, and so when I reached high school, they said you're going to go to a technical school because you're going to become an artisan. Okay, because there is no money for studies. That's what you will do, as per the family tradition. And I was very fortunate in that that I excelled because I always loved working with my hands and exploring and building things, and that eventually came to the time that there was a bursaries systems available or bursaries coming out, and that I was successful in the bursary at that point for AECI. In terms of that, so in that road going, I didn't want to go to a technical school. I wanted to become a doctor.
You want to become a doctor?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's lots of money in doctor. Right? And so I was very upset when they placed me in a technical school. My mother would tell the story that I didn't speak to them like for 2 months, right?
Yeah.
But perhaps they knew better. They knew I liked making things and technical things and working with my hands. So they know probably better. And then it excelled into, and I think mechanical engineer was the natural choice. Okay, and of what to do, because that's the only real engineering there is. Mechanical engineering.
Oh yeah, great. Well, you're working in a company that is process, so back to Diva. But now let's see. Outside work, you're passionate about fishing. Everybody seems like they know about you fishing. That's your thing. And then diving, you diving with your wife in the open ocean.
No, my wife doesn't dive.
Oh, you were one that dives.
Yeah, me and the children dive.
Okay.
And it started as an adventure again.
Yeah.
Testing the limits, but it soon became really cool and relaxing thing to do.
I don't know why. Okay.
And, so I love doing that. To me, it's very relaxing.
Yeah.
And to do that, and I think the danger part, the excitement part is gone now. Just because it's really, really just beautiful.
Okay. Okay. Well, I wanted to know what's the biggest fish you've caught?
So I'm an aspiring fisherman. I'm not a professional fisherman. So fishing is the only sport where you pay 100,000 rand to catch a 5 rand fish. So my biggest is around probably 2.5 kgs bass.
Okay.
And caught that in Louisiana, in the USA, while I was working there.
Oh,
and
LCCP?
At LCCP, yes.
So why, that's one thing. Why do you fish where you're not supposed to fish?
So the 5 water dams was just behind the factory. So after work, you can just pop around. So it was not strictly illegal, it was just frowned upon.
Oh,
and so it was just close, and you didn't have to travel all the way to where we stayed. And then so...
But again, I got that from the United States, you provided some courier services where you had to bring someone's hair.
No, so when I traveled to the USA, so there was a lot of people so I traveled more frequently over the 3-year period. I didn't, for a short period, I stayed there for 6 months, but over the 3 years I traveled. So the people realized this. So my suitcase started looking like a Willys trolley. Every time I brought 2. So in there was anything from brown onion soup to boiled chutney to raja curry to to underpants. I don't know if someone says he wants Woolies underpants. Bar ones. And so I had a full suitcase always just of stuff for people. And then obviously I had a trolley that people want stuff back again. So I became one of the local couriers and to and throw. And I must say, all the time I traveled, I was never stopped by customs. and I think one of the reasons is our plane from Qatar always came in just 10 or so minutes behind the plane from India.
Yeah.
Right? So obviously they thought there was much more contraband on that plane, and they would. So, but meanwhile, I've got this whole trolley that got everything from tomato sauce to with me, and like six strange things back, hair, motor parts, and that. But that's not the only time. I actually for a raya in Iran, I had to carry DCS parts into Iran in my suitcase.
What did they call it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sacrifice for the company. And
okay. But let me take it back now. Oh, and the best part was, one of your colleagues was like, I was so embarrassed. You got the hair for her, and then while you were supposed to just give it to her, but no, you were helping her to the car as well until you put it in the boot. It was like the whole point, the whole way you were like, she felt so embarrassed and all that. I was like, no, it's proper sense until it gets delivered. But in varsity, you had newspapers as your catching.
Yeah, and so I met my wife around the end of my second year. She also studied engineering, and then she shifted into to IT. And as a typical engineer, I met this beautiful lady that surprisingly are interested in me, right? And we quickly fell in love, and then realized that I will be going to Sasol, right?
Yeah.
And like Sakuna, there's nothing. And so if I don't ask her to get married, I will lose her.
Yeah.
And so we got married very early. And at that time, it was tough times for Sasol as well. And so we got notified that our bursaries will be cancelled, right? So we were engaged, set up to be married. And then they said, no, we don't have any bursary applications anymore. You don't have to come work. So we found work in the town. And that's actually on our honeymoon. Those days we got a little message from the hotel. So you must phone this number, right? And this HR lady said, will you still come to work for us? 3rd of January. And this was like the early December. And we said, okay, yes.
That's it.
And so we packed up. So we were married. And so remember, we stayed in this very small flat after we got married. And Sasol sent us a moving truck to come and move our stuff.
Yeah.
And here arrives a Pickford truck. Big 8-ton truck. And the only thing we have is a fridge and a sofa in this whole truck. And we had a bag of potatoes. We stay
we had the furniture, so yeah.
We stay stole. They stole a bag of potatoes. So they put us up in the hostel. And really, so we didn't have curtains. So we used newspapers for curtains. And we slept on the floor on 2 mattresses. We didn't have a bed. So if you ask a young Itai, what's the first thing they buy with a salary?
Yeah.
It's a double bed.
Yeah. That's one thing I got to do. Yeah.
So we stayed in the hostel for quite a long time until we could afford to move out. But that's part of growing up together as very young engineers.
Okay.
And
and I let's see. You've been involved for your whole life, Sasol, that's where the gene started. Have you been learning Sotho or something?
So that's one of the things I thought in my life is I should have started learning a third language earlier, right, when it was easy. So I've been trying on and off to learn Sotho, on and off. But don't not tell everyone who is listening, right? I can catch most conversations in the kitchen.
Oh, in the kitchen.
Or at least what it's about. Okay? And if they are upset or whatever, or skinnering about someone, that I can understand, but I cannot interact yet. Right?
Oh, yeah. It's more like you can hear, but speaking, coming out.
And so I'm still working on that, but it's a long work in progress. Okay. Because with age, language is never my good. I can hardly speak English, right? Yeah. And so language is not naturally to me, but I enjoy. And it's on and off. Then I get some time to learn, and then not. But there's probably going to be AI that immediately interprets everything for us by the time I am close to fluent. Okay. And in Sotho. But like I said, I can hear when someone is talking about me.
I can hear what you say.
And
careful, okay.
And I will say, "Hey, Mona."
Okay, so you are into stuff. You mentioned like you're into gadgets. I guess in cameras will just as far as gadgets, and then guitars and you're fixing cars. So, what's the latest project? Gadget.
Yeah. So me and my youngest son, right? So we just we share this thing about fixing things, and so we started fixing an old Mini. Then we fixed a Vespa together, and then he got into building and fixing guitars, and he really grew, and I helped him with that. So, but in generally, I got just this passion of fixing things and making things, and for a long time I had this wish to have my own sauna.
Okay.
Right, and I looked at these things and they're hugely expensive. So currently I'm trying to build my own sauna at the minimum technical solution. If you can, and it's something that beats BE50 cost.
Hey, make sure you don't just cut costs there because it will only be you if anything happens.
Yeah, but it must just be fit for purpose.
Yeah.
And but like I said, I don't even know how much I will use it, but the fun is in building it. And
it can be something that you do now with your friends or granddaughters. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but I'm again looking for the next restoration project that I'm thinking about, so.
And now I see like you mentioned like you got into the retirement sport, golf. That's what you do now.
Yeah, I didn't get into it. I was invited for a golf day, and I thought, damn, I can't embarrass the team. So I bought a second-hand set, and I started hitting balls, and just to the point. But I still embarrassed them. Yeah, and so I don't know if I'll get into golf. I don't know, and so we'll see.
Well, yes, I mentioned like you're collecting as well the chess pieces. Chess sets, chess pieces, whatever. You wanted me to tell you, you're still not good at it.
I am horrible. So I taught both of them. They must remember I taught both of them how to play chess. Right? But they start beating me at the age of 10. Okay. And so by the age of 12, I stopped playing against them.
Yeah.
And so when I go overseas, so I really got this passion for chess sets. Right? And if you go overseas, right, you go to countries and you must do something. Otherwise, you just look at the sites and stuff. So I started looking for chess sets in different countries and make sure that every time I come back, I have a chess set with me. And I've got some quite interesting things. And so it's my link to all these places I've been across the world. And like I said, it's just a passion. But it takes a lot of space, unfortunately.
Yeah. Now the one thing again is more of there's you I guess he wanted to know for himself as well. Your son wanted to know like how did you manage being father and balancing it with your career? Because in his eyes you did so well. So how do you balance that?
To be honest, I don't think it's always that good. After long periods I've not been in homes, so my wife did a great job with them.
Yeah.
And sometimes I wish I could spend more time with them. But it is about priorities. And we can talk about work-life balance and where do you find balance in your life. And but if you really find a passion in what your children does, it's not an effort to do that with them. Okay? So if it's building guitars or restoring something, trying to play chess or go playing hockey with them, if you find that passion together, it's the easiest way of motivation to spend the time and effort with them. Okay? And I think I was lucky that with both of them we found this natural connection with different things together that bonded us together. And so perhaps you have to make an effort. I think me and my wife is the same. We find these key things that we bond over together, while we still have our separate interests. And perhaps you have to make a bit of effort, like, doesn't naturally you have to, but you will soon realize, but this is quite fun if you do it with someone you love, right? And then you build this and build this and build this together. And it's not effort. I think it's like work, the same thing, right? So we talk about work-life balance and saying you have to have work-life balance. You have to work 8 hours and then you have to be able to step away and do that. But if you love what you're doing, you will work 15 hours and still say, but I've got balance.
Yes.
Okay. So work-life balance to me is not a thing and that you can measure in terms of that. And so I've got colleagues who say, I would gladly work until 65 because that's what they love. That's where they find balance. That's where they can live out their needs of creativity, right? And friendship and like I said, perhaps some exploring and things like that. And I think that's the same with that. Yes, there were tough times, right? I can honestly say that. Especially when they were younger, there's lots of studies, EIT work, studies, MBA, certifications, plus raising young ones, 1 and 2 year old, right? There's a lot of long hours in terms of that. But I was lucky. I loved the things I did at work, right? And I did some very interesting and exciting things, and also doing exciting things with them.
Is there a sequence of it? Study, have kids, do both, have kids, and
I say, right, when you've got energy, right, right, and you have not unlearned to learn, go study.
Go study.
Yes, right, that's why, because you quickly unlearn to learn. It becomes more difficult. So I try to just as early as possible, try to do further studies, right? And because you're still fit in that, and you do have energy. If you get to 14, 50 like me, energy needs to drop. Right? And I realized that, huh? And you get home at evening, it's like on the couch. 10 years or 20 years ago, I'll still go for a jog and do this and this. So you must appreciate the energy that you have.
And then you did BSc and mechanical engineering. I almost came mechanical, and then you did your MBA.
Yes.
And then this government certification, what is it about?
So South Africa, the labor law says that you must have what they call a government certificate of competency to be responsible for a plant. So what you call a 2.1. So early in our career,
is it that?
GMR 3.1. You have to have a government ticket. So very early when I started my career and I worked in utilities, it was kind of the direction that was looking that we will go. That I'll go into operations management, etc. So it was natural to get a GMR 2.1. That will be an appointment, and therefore to have professional certification was kind of compulsory. Yes.
Yeah.
And
and now what? You registered with Excel as well.
Sorry.
You registered with Excel.
Yes. So then I also registered with Excel shortly after that.
Yeah. And then the latest medicine certification. What was it? The project management.
Yeah, that was just to go and understand. Like I said, you can do anything, right? We are clever people in Sasol. We are ambitious people, right? Right, and otherwise you will not be working at Sasol in any role, right? Not engineering, etc. And you only have the passion to go and excel in what they give you, right? So when they said, right, you need to head up project management, and I said, but let me go see what other people teach, not what Sasol teach. So I did that.
I like
so just willing to go and learn.
Yeah. Oh, you big on self-improvement, I see. Doesn't matter how old you are, it's like, no, this is up for a challenge, just see what they have.
Because the knowledge is everywhere.
Yeah.
And you don't sit and wait to get spoon-fed, which I get frustrated with many EITs.
Yeah.
So our program in the EIT was so different than it's now. They told you 2 years you need to learn all of these things. Here's the list. Then you have to figure out where to get the experience, where to rotate to, what training to go do.
So it's spoon-fed.
Go do it. And then you have your panel, also panel, but not like, and I said, okay, tell me where you learned this. No, I was there. Okay. And this? No, I still have to find the opportunity. So we had to go drive, actually walk from plant manager to plant manager and says, just can I come work here for the next 6 months? We had to ask them.
Yeah, and it's more like it also like talk to people, communicate,
Yeah, and then I said, no, we didn't hear good things of you there. No, you can't come work here. So it was quite different, very different. It created different behavior in terms of that. And so I was of AECI, but we were quite well aligned with the Sasol program. The coordinators spoke to each other, etc. And so very similar in Sasol as well. You were given the list, and you made it or you didn't make it.
Yeah. Was there an extended program where if you didn't complete, then you have to...
No, so we were different. So we were appointed.
Oh.
So if you didn't, they had to dismiss you or go through a dismissal process. Yeah, but it was different. You just didn't get great opportunities. Because you also, and I remember myself when I finished, I had to go again to plant managers and says, can I come and work for you? Do you have a position for me? I went actually to different plants until one of the plants says, yeah, we got a position opening up. Yeah, you can come here for a position. So, so if you didn't perform, people just turned you away. Says, no, they didn't tell you doing the good things of you. They said, no, we don't have opportunity for you.
Then they get someone else like, oh, but
yes.
you don't have opportunity.
Yes. Yeah. So you had to really take ownership of your own development.
Yeah. But what would you say like is the difference between the old school engineers, your generation and my generation?
I think we're still both very ambitious, right? Okay. I think very intelligent still. So we don't say no, the older engineers more intelligent than the new engineers. Oh, we learn differently with different resources, etc. But we both very ambitious, and I think the newer engineers people are thinking more about life as together with career, right? So thinking more about what makes people happy, what will make me happy versus what will progress my career. Generic statement. It's definitely not applicable to anyone in terms of that. And, but I do feel that you develop in a lot more safe environment and therefore become much more risk adverse against challenges and accepting opportunities and trying something new. Well, I'll tell you some horrible stories. So when we grow up, they were not afraid to give you something to do by yourself. but they were also there when you failed, right? So they took accountability for your failure. So you were not afraid to try, right? And so I remember, and this is a story I tell all my engineers, is we were running a shutdown at the boiler station. And as an EIT, they put me in charge of scaffolding management of the shutdown, right? Okay. So I had to make sure all the scaffolds are up prior to the shutdown. They are managed through the shutdown. They're taken down in the shutdown, right? Everything. And did a beautiful job and everything. And we started the boilers up. And this one boiler just didn't want to work. It doesn't want to do right. And it was going on for 2 to 3 days that this boiler just don't want to run. And then suddenly pieces of wood came out in the ash system, like planks, right? And then we said, no, it's a problem. So they opened up the superheater, and here the whole scaffold is inside the superheater, which I forgot in there. I left it in there.
You forgot the scaffold in the superheater.
Yes. So that's one of the
up there.
yeah. And so obviously the whole boiler flow was blocked, and the boiler only started running as this wood plank started burning away. It took about 2 to 3 days. Yeah, and they would call you in and they would scold you and give a couple of really harsh words to you, and then they tell you, don't never go do that again. Right? And I've got a couple of those stories that I can explain.
That temperature and by the superheaters.
Yeah, and so you start building resilience.
Yeah.
All right. About things and say, okay, there's consequences to what you do, right? And so we didn't have merit systems, right? But they made sure that you have to spend plenty of time working overtime for the next month or so, right? To learn the lesson. And as an example. And so that's the one thing. But the other thing, we also got lots of more bigger things to do as EITs. So we see that, for example, in Natref, and we see that in mining. But I do think our EIT should get bigger opportunities to add value. And but because you do come out of varsity as an engineer, okay, and to do that. So I was very fortunate to get quite big projects as a very junior EIT in the GDP program and as a young engineer to lead.
Yeah. Then your colleagues speak of your sharp skills, body language awareness, and studying human behavior. So I have like these insights that I can put your leadership style.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to improve.
Yeah. So I learned about character types, personality types in this series because I wanted to understand myself better, right? And I think that is, and to be a good mentor, to be a good leader, you first need to understand yourself very deeply. So that's where it started. And as I started reading about these things and understanding a bit, I said, these are quite powerful tools about understanding people. And again, then you start getting excited about, this is like this superpower. And then you want to learn more. And you want to learn more and explore more in terms of that. And and then you start finding this very useful and very powerful because it's about how you relate with a person. And if you don't know who you are and how you respond in conflict, or what's your convincing style, or what are your bad points, or your bad character, it's very difficult to relate to someone in terms of that. So it really again becomes because we're inquisitive. I was just curious about how these things work and how these different models work, and got interested in that.
Yeah.
So
and you have also you have a reputation of being, you read books and all that, and I said like you adapt very easy to change. So are there books, audiobooks, or other resources?
So I hated reading.
You hated reading.
So I nearly failed Afrikaans and I nearly failed English. I nearly didn't get accepted to varsity because of my language marks. Right, I just made. So I was horrible because I hated to read. So I was that guy when you got a prescriptive book, I rented the video, not the DVD, the video. And so I saw Shakespeare. I didn't read it, and I saw the movie Kringe and the Boss. I didn't read it. I hated reading. Some yes, like physics and stuff, right? So but Afrikaans and English. So I just and it was even studying. Right, I'm so glad I was studying engineering, so I don't have to read theory for that. And then the son started playing chess. And if you ever spend 5 days in a chess tournament, right, watching grass grow is more exciting than that. So I started reading.
Yeah. Oh,
right,
okay.
reading, and then again started finding, but there's quite interesting things, and then realized, but life is so short. But you already got this magnitude of experience captured by other people in words that is open to you, right? And again, in my diverse of nature, I started reading fiction, adventure fiction, right? Biographies, and also some more leadership books, but more alternative leadership books. Okay, not the mainstream stuff, and so. Two of my favorite books is The 9 Lies About Work.
9 Lies.
Yeah. And so that's a very interesting book. And because we pursue so many things in corporate life that is through real studies proven to be nonsense. Okay. So that's a very favorite book. Leadership BS. Okay. And do this because many of these books, you need to understand, is written from a single person's perspective in his experience. But for example, that book about 9 Lies About Work is actual research done by reputable universities over tens of years about a topic, like Harvard University in Oxford. Yeah. And then they look some of these theories that people write in these books and say, but that's actually nonsense. It's not true. Yeah. Right? Doesn't work like that. Right. So, for example, one of the lies about work is that people must be well-rounded to be successful. Okay? So we are working to make people more well-rounded. So we do a competency assessment. We see where the gaps is. We try to fill the gaps. Right. That's the thing. But the most successful people in the world are not well-rounded. They're the opposite. They've got one or two skills that is just amazing.
You just double down on that one.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to go in on this one.
Yeah. And that's proven through substantial research, right? And so that's, for example, one of so those are books I love. Yeah. Love to read a bit more alternative things and also biographies, but interesting ones.
Yeah. Okay. Then just catching you on this one, last questions. So looking back, what legacy do you have to leave behind in the industry and at Sasol?
I think I'm fortunate enough there's a couple of things that I've created through my life that will remain in Sasol. Both physical assets, right? And it's so cool driving about something. I was involved in that, right? And I was part of that, and that I led. That's cool, right? and someone will break it down again at some point. But there's also other things that systems and tools that were created in terms of that. But I think right now, for me, that's probably my biggest passion is looking at the GDP program, and how can we really in 3 years create engineers that is really robust, creative, right, mentally strong, okay, and perhaps bring a little bit back of that old school, okay, and blending that with the great new competencies that we now have, like AI and all of these things, and modeling and all of those tools and agile. And how can we really bring that together and say, how can we create again a generation of junior engineers that is resilient, okay, stuff, and can take on Sasol into the future. I think that is really, really a passion for me.
Have another more 75 years.
Yeah, and so I think right now that is where the legacy if you can call it a legacy.
Yeah.
That I will. And the other one, is really working at the Sasol's learning culture. We really have an immature, if I'm going to call it that, learning culture. We learn difficultly, right? We learn lessons difficultly. We've got this thing about, like, if something happened, it will not happen to me.
Yeah.
Right? And also really difficult to adapt to new things. And the world is changing so quickly. If we don't find a way to learn quicker, then we will fall behind. And I think I've talked about reverse coaching. I think there's a wonderful opportunity of young engineers teaching the more mature people about this, about how to adapt quickly, how to learn quickly, how do you learn versus how we were taught to learn. Okay, and I think there's great opportunities that, because right, we still have this mentality that I have to go sit in a training room, someone have to tell me what I need to train. If they didn't tell me, then I said, no, but I don't know this. Okay. That is very, very, very not only immature, but old school. And we will quickly fall behind if we stay in that model. So I don't know the answers yet in terms of that, but I hopefully it lies in the young talent that we have, and some reverse coaching about how to learn quicker. So I think that is the other key thing that I have as for me is a challenge going forward.
Yeah. How about if you could give one piece of advice to a younger soul starting out in a petrochemical industry, what would it be?
Okay, these are two things, right? So to my younger self, right?
Yeah.
Put your bonus in your pension scheme.
Okay.
Don't spend it. Right?
Okay.
Right? That's the one thing. Yeah. Looking back now, I said,
some tips. This is what they should be doing.
Why didn't I put just half of my bonus, right?
Yeah.
I can buy all the car, right? Or I can still stay on this couch for a bit longer, right? Because it's exponentially. It doesn't help you do it when you're 14, 15. That's by the way, right? You must do it when you're in your 20s. So that is just advice. Okay, so I think about things that makes you successful that I would have told myself then is learn to be more resilient. Okay, which kind of say things happen, good things happen, bad things happen to good people. It happens in Sasol as well. So learn to see the opportunities in things. Learn to communicate. It is critical. Learn to communicate with different type of people in different ways. Build courage. People are not born with courage. Build your courage up, and with that, to have you have conviction. Learn to have conviction, what you stand for, right? To trust in yourself. So I think that is important. Learn to forgive and have some sympathy, and that includes yourself. Okay, we are human. We make mistakes. It's not the end of the world. And aim big.
Aim big.
Right. Aim big.
Aim big.
And you will surprise yourself.
Yeah.
You will really surprise yourself.
I was gonna. It was one of the questions I was gonna come. I was like, "What advice would you give to young engineers?" This is it. Whatever you say, this is it. So yeah, perfect.
Don't be afraid to fail. And I think we are so afraid of failing.
Yeah.
And again, it's propaganda. But Sasol will do this, and I will not get right. You can fail, and it's the job of managers to make you fail safe.
Yeah.
Right? That's their job. And I think the last one, and I see that, is learn to take accountability. You're accountable for your own outcomes. You're accountable for your own development, right? It's nobody else's fault. Okay? And if you start learning and again building that accountability, which comes with courage, it comes with self-conviction, it comes over time. But essentially what people want to see if they look around, they see one of people that takes up accountability and are resilient in terms of that. Now, it seems like I'm quoting Sasol values in terms of that.
It, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not the intent. But take chances. Life is too short. Totally too short.
Say yes. Just say yes.
And you'll be amazed where it takes you.
Yeah.
And do that. And the last thing that I think is so important is there's a difference between happiness and success. Big difference. And so often we chase success, but we forget about our happiness and are happy with our family.
It's more like that thing again, like you postponing your happiness. Oh, when I get that,
then I'll be happy. Yeah.
And then when you get there again, you have another expectation.
Yes.
No, I need to postpone.
So success is getting what you want. Happiness is wanting what you have. Okay.
Yeah.
Very few of us will become the CEO of a big company, right? Yeah. Or EVPs, right? It is hard work and lots of luck.
Lots of luck.
Right? The right opportunities at the right time, etc. And lots of hard work. Okay? Statistically, you'll be there. So finding the balance about success and happiness is crucial. And what makes you happy. Okay? And if that is highly related to your career, you're in a great space. If it's separated from your career, right, it's more difficult to manage. Okay? So if your work makes you happy, if the people you work with makes you happy, if you find that you are challenged, that you can be creative, right, that you can care for things in that, and those are things you are so much better positioned. But if it's separate, right, then it becomes more challenging. And then people talk about work-life balance. Work's about success. Life is about happiness. And now we're trying to merge these things together. So I was also, like I said, ambitious when I was young. Wanted to excel, wanted to be in certain things in terms of that. And later you realize, but there's other things that makes you happy. Okay? And the places where they overlap is where there's a huge amount of energy. Okay? So as example, so I love to travel, okay? And the world, to explore. Now when that matches with your work, then the work is not work anymore.
It's just more like doing what you love.
It's doing what you love. And I think that is what is probably the most important.
Yeah.
That advice what I've given myself when I was young, and I would probably like many said, no, that's nonsense. That's nonsense.
At that point, you're like, yeah, that's nonsense. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Well, now, by the time this episode will be out, you'll be a grandfather by then. You'll be a grandfather by then. So right now, you enjoy your early morning coffee rituals, spending time with your dogs. How do you see that journey? Would you be in Secunda more often?
Yeah, children need time to grow up themselves, huh? And so tough love parenting style.
Like, as soon as they know how to talk and walk, then I'll take them.
They must create their own life, so I think grandparents and parents are now there just as the catch net. Yeah. Okay, you cannot ever step away from being the catch net, but they must make their own mistakes, right? All the way. I can generally look at this and say, this is the wrong way, but you have to think twice before you intervene, right? Think twice. Yeah. And because a lesson experienced is so much more valuable than a lesson taught.
Yeah.
Okay. And will we be more in Secunda? Probably a bit more, right? Enjoying it. But really they must carve their own way forward and learn their own way.
Yeah. So the last one, I have a message here from 3 people. One person will know where it came from. Let me put this on this one. So your son message said this to me. a lot of things that he said, but he just kept it short and sweet. He said like he just appreciates you and the quality of life that you cater for them, the support that you give, being there for them when they need you. And then he mentioned what you get to. The best memories that he had was like during the hockey experiences when you have to drive in there or you guys are together.
Mhm.
So yeah, and then you're also a hockey goalkeeper.
Yes.
Okay, we didn't cover it, but yeah, at least you mentioned it.
And he married a hockey goalkeeper. So,
yes, yes, you mentioned it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then the other one is, you tell me where this one is coming from. Thank you for the legacy you're leaving at Sasol. System, tools, and ways of work for the betterment of the company. What do you think that message?
So yeah, I don't know who you spoke to everyone, but if I think about systems and tools, it must be from commissioning, must be from that space.
Yep.
So so yeah, we and a lot of people don't realize it, and there's lots of debate, but Sasol's got world recognized best commissioning principles. And what happens, if things go so well, people forget what is delivering that. Okay, and then he starts getting challenged. And but we've got commissioning guys that left Sasol in prime positions all over the world, following principles that they've learned here.
Yeah.
In terms of that. But very important, and I think that is a team effort over several years. It's not a me, right?
Yeah.
Where commissioning is in terms of that. And but yes, I think that's one of the things I'll always be proud of.
Yeah.
That we created as a team is the way that Sasol commissions and what's been put in place. And it's actually a bit of sad that we are, and it happens normally, right? That we are not linking that success, what we see anymore, with actually all the amount of effort and tools and things that goes into our commissioning success. It become the norm, and then the norm starts being challenged. Okay.
Yeah. And the last one is, Andrew, thank you for being a coach and a friend. Thank you for shaping. I'm just gonna read word for it because I took it that way. Thank you for shaping and sharpening my HR business partnership skills. You are a huge blessing, not just to me, but to many people. As you know, I've introduced plenty to you, and I just want to thank you on their behalf. I pray God bless you and God enlarges your territory. I'm looking forward to our next friendship coffee kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So me and Doris, we come a long road together, and paths crossing as we go, and in terms of that. But I think in a relationship like that comes from two parts, and someone will need to be willing to learn as well. Okay, and so I always say, what's the difference between preaching and teaching? Okay, and Doris is going to find offensive about that. The difference about preaching and teaching is that there's a willing audience when you teach. Yeah. Preaching is not always a willing audience. Right? So I say, oh, guys, be careful when you do the training. There's a difference between preaching and teaching. And in terms of that, so Doris might understand that different than I do. But as you said, I'm from the Holland Frozen community. And sometimes we fall asleep in church.
Now you're on church, closing on this one. How is like the religion or being spiritual like influence your personal and professional?
I think that's a difficult question in terms of that. So I'm not very spiritual. To that, and my family knows that and stuff, and but there's a deep trust right? And whatever your religion is life will be unbearing, in my view, if you can't accept that there's a higher power taking care of you, directing you where you want to go. If all of that is your accountability, right? It must be, I can't say, well, I can expect it to be because I have no understanding of that. But it must be unbearingly weight on you. That things happen around you that you have no control over, but that is for the better good. That good things happen to bad people, right? Because there's bad things in the world. But there's always someone that is looking after you, right? And the parent, and what happens to you, even in the worst of times, in terms of that. And that is an anchor. In the fundamental and in the fundamentals of that. And so I think we all can still grow immensely, right? I think that's the principle of Christianity, that there is no such thing as perfect. You cannot be perfect. And there's probably some example of the least perfect in terms of my faith and religion. But like I said, when I mentor, it's very difficult for me to say how to mentor if I have to explain things, and it comes down that all of that accountability is yours. Okay? And because that's not how life works.
That's not. Okay. But yeah, any last words of wisdom for anyone who will be watching this?
Last words of wisdom?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sitting here now, right? I was in a training session the other day, and the guys said, "What are your age? How long have you been with Sasol?" And they went around, and they came to me, and I said 30 years, and I was the oldest there. And it was in a training room that I sat yesterday, and I was the youngest one. The same room. I was the youngest person there. And now I'm the oldest. And I just thought, how time flies, right? It is like this, okay? Make sure you enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
Make sure you enjoy the journey. And don't get stuck, right, in doing things that makes you unhappy. There's so much opportunities in Sasol, just in Sasol, right? Yeah. Because it will be like this. And you will look back and say, but what did I miss, right? What didn't I do? What opportunities I didn't take, right? What could have been? Just like that. You will be 50, Gregory, tomorrow. Okay? I can tell you that. And then you'll sit and say, but wow, what opportunities I could. And I can sit here and say, there's still, I would love to have more things, but I think Sasol gave me great experiences, right? And I will leave Sasol with a great heart that someday saying that, there were so many good experiences.
Yeah.
And some of that good experiences are very bad experiences, very bad experiences. And you have to see the light and anything, because I was an FT Web and I was on LCCP in those things. But there's always light in that. And you look back, look at that, and you look at friendships, and you look at experiences and things you have learned. And but Gregory 50 will come in a heartbeat. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
And then you have to look back and say, but why didn't I try that? Try it. Go for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm taking all the opportunities, saying yes to everything. So, yeah. But yeah, I want you to be 2 more cuts. Just close it off. I started this way and I finished this way. So yeah.
Let me don't draw kids, please. Okay. Just take that one. But all of them are called kids.
Yeah, all of them.
Oh, okay.
All of
them. I think.
Just take you back. Taking you back. Let's see. Let's start with this one. If you could play any instrument, what would it be?
The guitar.
Guitar. Perfect.
So I've got no musical talent at all. My wife plays like 15 instruments, right? My younger son plays bass, guitar, classic, everything.
Yeah.
They can probably do things. I don't understand even what is a tune. So then
The last one. Do you feel like you could talk with me about anything at all?
I think yes.
Yeah, that hesitation.
Yeah, no, I must think carefully. And yeah, I think I could, right? And not everything recorded, obviously. And
Hey, it's recording now, so yeah.
yes,
Yeah, but yeah. Well, it's been a good discussion. I have to let you go now. I said it's going to be when I end at 7. Now it's 7:30. But thank you for having me chat with me.
that was a pleasure. It was very relaxing. And
Yeah, and I hope anyone who will be watching this can get something from the experience.
Mm.
I mean, you said learning from someone telling you is not the same as like the experience you getting, but at least if someone can see something through your journey and going through the same thing,
yeah.
you can take something from it.
So I'm going to say something. So and I really want to bring this forward. So I keep a list of successes and failures, right?
Yeah.
My failures list is longer than my success list with the 30 years. That's a bit humbling. Okay.
You keep the list.
I keep the list.
Yeah.
So go try it. It is not as horrible as you think if you fail.
Go try. But perfect. Andrew, thank you. Until we meet again, some other time, somewhere.
Great.
Perfect. Yes.
Kia ora boa.
Oh, kia ora boa. There, this is coming out now. Okay, perfect.
Okay, cool.
Let me see.